Hello, everybody. This is something a little bit new today. Instead of doing sort of my normal GoPro thing, I thought I would try to do something that's kind of in between the Substack podcast that I do and something in between kind of some of the YouTube I do, but I thought I would do it maybe streaming. And what I wanted to talk about in this video is the Republican National Committee withdrawing from the presidential debates. Thank God. I know I'm not supposed to say that as a debate scholar, but thank God. This is excellent, excellent news, and we're going to talk about why that is. And I'll give you some reasons for it and things to think about when you think about what it means to not withdraw from debating, but what it means to withdraw from the Commission on Presidential Debates. So let's take a look here. Here's NPR's coverage of it, and I just pulled this up because I think they're all kind of be the same. Republicans say they're quitting the biased Commission on Presidential Debates. So, for those of you who don't know, the Commission on Presidential Debates is a bipartisan, not nonpartisan, bipartisan cooperative organization consisting of Democrat and Republican former elected officials, supporters, former party insiders who want to make an event that allows the voters to see the differences between the two major parties, not to decide what the, not to decide whether or not these are the best ideas or whatever. It's sort of dictated what the issues are. And they always pick a mainstream journalist from a major newspaper, television outlet to be the moderator. And this person obviously is going to choose things that are circulating in the media that get attention, airtime, and things like that. That's not the best model for sort of dealing with some of these issues that might come up in the election. So the Commission on Presidential Debates, they're right here, is started jointly between them, but it wasn't started fairly. They took over from the League of Women Voters, who had been running the debates since 76, since the what were called the anniversary debates, because it was for the bicentennial. So it was like bicentennial debates between Ford and Carter. So it's important to note there was an organization doing it who was neutral, who was doing their own thing. And both parties executed a coup on the League of Women Voters to take that event away from them because they didn't like how it was being run. They thought it made both parties look bad. They included third parties from time to time. John Anderson, who was running as a libertarian in 1980, was included. And they included journalists who both parties didn't like. And the League of Women Voters actually might be quite thankful they got out of it, to tell you the truth. I don't know if they really liked hosting those things. So now they have decided to leave it, ending more than 3 decades of bipartisan civic cooperation. Bipartisan cooperation, civic, no. Like, who's invited to ask questions at these things? What's that screening process for the town hall? And the RNC chairwoman, Ronna McDaniel, said, the Commission on Presidential Debates is biased and refused to enact simple and common sense reforms to help ensure fair debates, including hosting debates before voting begins and selecting moderators who have never worked for candidates on the debate stage. A weird objection, because the entire CPD has always bent over backwards. The Commission on Presidential Debates has always been over backwards to serve the Democrats and the Republicans and do everything they want. Everything they want, including excluding anybody they want from the venue. Third-party candidates over the years have, even if they had a ticket given to them, were not allowed to attend the presidential debates, even as an audience member. So this is actually kind of beneficial here. Today, the RNC voted to withdraw from the biased CPD, and we're going to find newer, better debate platforms to ensure that future nominees are not forced to go through the biased CPD in order to make their case to the American people. I mean, I support that. I think that would be great. I wonder what those platforms would be and who would host them. It would be nice to have an organization like the CPD that, instead of being focused on the two major parties, was focused on debate itself. There are no debate, rhetoric, language, speech, oratory, or communication experts of any kind on the Commission for Presidential Debates right now. It's kind of a boutique kind of a front-facing appointment. It's a nice thing to be on there. They have some journalists on there, but they're the kind of journalists who, kind of read off a teleprompter on the morning news kind of journalists, not the kind of journalist you would want on there. So then it goes on to talk a little bit about the history here and some of the different things about bias. But please keep in mind that the Commission on Presidential Debates exists to create bias. There are two choices. There are two parties. There are 5 issues. These are the way these issues split between these two parties. It creates a smoke screen of all the different positions we could have on complicated national issues. Very complicated national issues. So it's actually kind of a nice thing. I hope the CPD collapses and we get a number of different kinds of debate events with things like YouTube, with podcasting, with the decentralization of broadcast media. You could have a ton of different things, a ton of different ways to do this. The originator of the presidential debates, Adlai Stevenson, who's a former governor of Illinois, he's the one who started the whole thing going with the 1960s Kennedy-Nixon debates. Wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for Stevenson's push on Congress for this to happen. So he thought of it as having a national forum that would get away from our regional biases. But I don't think he would be happy for a national forum to replicate party biases. He wanted it to be like a town hall, but an electronic kind of town hall where everybody could sort of talk about issues facing the country. A very Whig kind of attitude, like our regional differences and all these things. But the national issues are not the party's issues, not the Democrats' issues, not the Republicans' issues. So what's my advice going forward? Well, if I was in the Republican Party, I would say what you need to do is say, we want to establish a nonpartisan organization about the biggest issues in the country. Things like immigration, economics, labor, healthcare, and maybe like social, cultural stuff, because the Republicans are interested in that kind of thing. So you could say it's in these 5 categories, and we're going to create this commission, and they're going to be independent, and they're going to run our debates. But of course, since they kind of frame what those issues are going to be for each debate, that would be what I would do if I was the Republicans. They're probably not going to do that. They're probably just going to rely on the media to host the debates, and that's just going to be replication of the same kind of problem. The Democrats have a couple of choices here. Democratic Party could say, well, we're going to support the CPD and continue to have CPD debates. And the CPD might change into more of a public forum, like what we've seen on CNN when Bernie Sanders goes to Fox and does a forum, or when you have debates like Ted Cruz and Bernie Sanders on CNN. It might be something more akin to that. But I just don't really see the Commission on Presidential Debates surviving without buy-in from the two major parties. It could be the Democrats, and they won't do this, but they could say, we want it to be all candidates, and we're going to invite a bunch of candidates, and we'll go. That might actually help them to bring in third party, but they're going to be scared of that. They're probably not going to do that. If I was on the Commission for Presidential Debates, I would say, okay, the time has come for us to be really debate-centric and not worry about the two parties, and let's host debates like they did in American history. A lot of people don't know this. In the 19th century, before the Lincoln-Douglas debates, there were tons of political debates that were taking, like speech turn-taking kind of things, like in the 1830s, where people like Abraham Lincoln and John C. Calhoun stumped or stood in for the major presidential candidates, and they went all over the country and did these stand-in debates. Maybe we could go back to that. An event in each, and there's a model for this. Intelligence Squared, Monk Debates, these kind of podcast debates, they don't really travel. Intelligence Squared is like London, New York. The Monk Debates are in Toronto. They don't really travel. But what about a traveling one where they could you get an audience in, and the audience could ask questions, and you have surrogates standing in for the candidates and debating the issues, party members. What a great way to train your party members up to get them that exposure and sort of put them on deck for big office runs in the future. I think that would be really smart. And the Republicans and Democrats had done it before. The Whigs and the Democrats had done it before. Look back to the 1830s after the Foote debate. That's what really got people interested in public debate in the political sense. Of course, in America, they've always had public debate, but in that political party sense, comes along after the Foote debate. So that's what I would recommend for all of them to do. If you like this video, please let me know. You can I'm going to post it on Substack. You can comment here on YouTube as well. If you want to see more of these kind of things, let me know. I'll do more of them. Just let me know what you think of the quality and everything. This is all quite new to me. Yeah, let me know what you think. And yeah, the CPD, hopefully, RIP CPD, but it might survive. It's been through a lot. And if it does survive, hopefully it'll be something a little bit better for us. But I really hope it goes away and that we just have scorched earth and some new organization rises up to handle our presidential debates. Or maybe we don't need them. Maybe we don't need a presidential debate. Let me know what you think down below.